Namaste everyone. I'm Akshit and I invite you to Yogathon 2.0 on behalf of Ira Yoga Wellness team. And today is a very special day and I wish you all a very happy Independence Day. We of course are celebrating this in a very nice way. I would say in the yogic way. And also, of course, you know that this session is about Ayurveda and Ayurvedic practices. We have been seeing since last 6 to 8 months how the government, how the doctors, how the yoga gurus, everyone has been, you know, encouraging us to go to the Ayurvedic practices, take some Ayurveda medicine, and this has been really motivational for us. And in fact, not only for India, this has spread a lot. Like even outside India, it has been now. It's a big thing all over the world, and we all are really lucky to have Dr. Pratap Chauhan today with us. And he doesn't actually require an introduction, but still I would want to tell a little about him. He is one of the biggest Ayurvedic doctors that we have, for sure. And he's also a very big inspiration for us, from how he started his clinic from scratch, from a garage, to now he's the founder of such a big Ayurvedic company, which is the Jiva Ayurveda. To whoever of us knows about Ayurveda, we know about the Jiva Ayurveda. And we are really glad to have you, sir. Also, before we begin the session, we have a really surprise for you all. We have a really good surprise goodie for the person who wins the contest here. And it's a mat, it's an acupressure mat by Core Yoga, Core Asana. That's the company which is giving this acupressure mat. It's very good for your back. You can give massage to the back. You can keep it under your feet for the massage. You can lie down on it during the yoga nidra practices. You can carry it anywhere. So it's a really very good mat to have. And so the person who will win this, how to win this, you have to keep your video on, first of all the time. And secondly, you have to ask a question to Dr. Chauhan at the end of the session. So whoever asks the best question, maybe Dr. Chauhan or me, we will choose the winner. So we'll have a Q&A session at the end. Also, without wasting a lot of time, I'll just ask Dr. Chauhan to take over. And here we go.
So once again, thank you, Akshit, for introducing me. And I welcome you all to this talk. I'm very thankful to Ira Yoga for giving me this opportunity. Of course, I participated in the first event also in the International Yoga Day.
Right.
And, today, as we all are celebrating the Independence Day, so very happy Independence Day to all of you. Independence means freedom. And according to Ayurveda, when we talk about freedom, you know, the freedom is not just freedom like we celebrating, but the real freedom is when we have no pain in our body, no physical pain. When our body is free from pain, that is real freedom. And when our mind is free from all kind of mental, disturbances, whether it is stress or, anxiety or depression. So when our mind is free from all mental diseases, when our body is free from all the diseases, and when our soul is free from the karmic baggage that we carry from one life to another, that is real freedom. That is what is called moksha. Of course, many of you might be, I think, aware of this word moksha in yoga. Of course, that's the final goal of yoga when we talk of the 8 parts of yoga. The samadhi is the last one, when you really merge into the super soul. The soul is connected with super soul. That is the real meaning of the word yoga. That means to link.
Yeah.
Ayurveda is also similar science. Many people think Ayurveda is just some kada or some jadi booty, or now many people maybe they just think of some oil massage or something pouring on your forehead. But you'll be very happy to know that Ayurveda and yoga are very much in relation with each other. And today, since it is a very auspicious day for us, all of us, it's a day of liberation, it's a day of independence, it's a day of freedom. let me begin you by explaining to you that Ayurveda is actually the science of liberation. It's the science of moksha, you can say, if you want to just understand what is Ayurveda in one word, because Ayurveda helps us to attain real moksha. I'm not talking now here moksha or freedom from disease or freedom from stress, but one of the real goals of Ayurveda is to become arogya, to become healthy, no disease. And why do we want to become healthy? There is a very nice verse that comes in our textbooks, Charak Samhita, Dharmartha Kamoksha Nama Arogyam Moolamuttamam. Why do we want to become healthy? Many people don't know this actually. Very often in my lectures, I ask people that, why do you want to become healthy? And most people, they actually want to become healthy so that they can become unhealthy again. That's their goal. People want to become healthy so that they can eat more, or they can party more, or they can, enjoy more, which means they can eat some kind of junk food or overeat, or they can do some party, which means break all the rules, and then they will fall sick again. So that's not the purpose according to Ayurveda. The real purpose is, by becoming healthy, you can pursue the 4 parts of life, which are called the 4 Purusharthas, the Chatushta Purusharthas, which is Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. So these are the 4 things that a human being has to do in his or her life. And this is very, very basic information and basic thing that every person must do. When we say dharma, I'm not going to go into philosophy, but I'm just giving you, dharma is discipline. When you live in discipline, for example, when you're driving a car on the highway, so there is some rules you have to follow. There is traffic rules. So that is called the dharma of traffic. Right. Why do we have to follow this? So that we are free. Nobody will catch you. No policeman will catch you. You will have no ticket. Nobody will give you a challan. So that is real freedom. Real freedom is not breaking the rules. Because if you break the rules, even if there is no policeman, there are hidden cameras now. The challan will come to your home. So that is bondage. Breaking the rule, which means not following the dharma, is bondage. Right. Following the dharma is liberation. And this is very beautiful. Dharma and moksha, these are 2, and in between there is kama and artha. Artha and kama means you have to make some money to live. I'm giving you very basic things. You have to also enjoy. Enjoyment is not restricted in our Vedic way of life. But in order to also make money, when you want to make money, or you want to do some economic activity, or you want to enjoy, in that, while you're doing that, you have to also follow some rules. The dharma still have to be followed. And that's how throughout your life, you remain free and you remain liberated. Liberation doesn't come after death. After death, of course, you get it, but now is the time to experience liberation. Liberation from attachment, liberation from envy and enviousness, liberation from greed. All these, we know all these words. So this is what is the basic purpose of becoming healthy. Right. This is very nicely described in Ayurveda, and Ayurveda is the science that helps us to become healthy. So Ayurveda has to be, a part of everybody's life, because we all want freedom. We all want to enjoy this life. Nobody wants miseries. We don't want any kind of troubles. So therefore we have to be healthy. And health doesn't mean just merely absence of disease. Health means, not just physical health, emotional health, psychological health, social health, where your relations. Sometimes, you can be healthy, all your tests are normal, but you are having very bad relations. Yeah. That is a problem. That's the cause of our miseries. Or you might be having an emotional problem. You're going through some emotional trauma. Or even spiritual health is described in Ayurveda. Spiritual health means not only in this life I want to be free, or I want to be healthy. Even I'm considering what will happen to me after I die, after I leave this body. So that the next part of the life after this is also secured in Ayurveda. So this is a basic definition. I give various definitions of Ayurveda since it was Independence Day today. So today I am describing Ayurveda as the science of independence, or you can say the science of liberation, or the science of moksha. And really, this what I'm saying, I really mean it. And every human being in the world needs to know Ayurveda, because if we don't know Ayurveda, then we are going to suffer, either physical level or mental level or emotional level. So in short, again, what I say is Ayurveda is like an instruction manual for this human system. Like when you buy a phone, you buy a television, you buy a computer, there is a booklet that describes about how to use it. So Ayurveda is an instruction manual for the human system. Anything that you want to know about this system. Suppose one day you wake up in the morning and you have some burning in your stomach. So what do? Why do you have to go to a doctor? If you have the manual with you, if you know the Ayurveda manual, so you can look in the manual. Okay, what should I do if there is burning? It will tell you immediately that burning means that pitta or fire has increased. And now common sense, you can use common sense. If fire is increased, if suppose there is a fire in your house, so what do? You put water in it. So if there is burning in your stomach, you eat watermelon, you can eat cucumbers, you can drink water, you can have coconut water. But this is what people don't do. This is common sense, because nobody has ever connected us with Ayurveda. So most people in the world, what they do? They take one antacid when there is burning in their stomach, and after taking the antacid, after 5 minutes, they drink a coffee or they drink a chai. Many people in your home, just look, maybe many people are doing it every day. Every morning they take a pentoside, or there are many trade names of these antacid tablets, and after 5 minutes they drink chai. So this is not intelligent. This is like you take shower, you come out of the bathroom and you put dust on your body. So this is in Ayurveda is called Pragya Parad. Pragya means buddhi, intelligence. Every one of you have intelligence. I know this. That's why you're here. You're listening to me. Without intelligence, you won't be here. But majority of the time, we don't use it, or we misuse it, or we abuse it.
Right.
That is what is in Ayurveda is mentioned as the root cause of our suffering. The root cause of bondage is Pragya Parad. Sickness or disease means bondage. We are bound, we are bound to certain things and we're not free. So if you want freedom, if you want independence, what do you want? You want knowledge. You want knowledge. Knowledge is the most purifying thing. Nahi jnanen sadrishyam pavitramaya vidyate. There is nothing as purifying as knowledge. So once you know about your system, then you can enjoy your life, because it's like, when you know your car, so you can drive your car very easily and you reach the destination. So brief introduction of Ayurveda, that this is the science of human system. In order to attain this health, because we are talking about health, health is the main purpose of Ayurveda, main aim of Ayurveda is to attain health. So there are two main goals in Ayurveda, they say. One is swasthasya swastha rakshanam. Number one means to maintain the health of those who are healthy. And number two is those who are sick, how to make them healthy. Swasthasya swastha rakshanam aturasya vikara prashmanam che. Those who are sick, how to make them healthy. So healthy people should remain healthy and sick people should become healthy. So ultimately, what is the goal? Goal is health. And in order to become healthy or remain healthy, one important thing I want to discuss here is your immunity. It's a very popular word these days. These days, since the COVID is going on, everybody is talking about immunity. Now you are even getting immunity bread. And I saw, they're selling now Chyawanprash ice cream.
Yeah.
People are using this opportunity to make a lot of, interesting products, that Chyawanprash ice cream. I was very surprised to see that.
It's definitely the need of the hour.
Yeah, and there are many other things. So let's try to understand that in this context of this current pandemic, what can we do to enhance our immunity from Ayurvedic perspective? I'll give you the Ayurvedic perspective. And in Ayurveda, whenever we talk about immunity, so let's talk first from the physical body level. Because in Ayurveda, we have various levels. I'm sure in yoga, you have studied the Panchakoshas.
Right.
The 5 sheaths, like the Annamaya Sharir and then Manomaya and, Vijnanamaya and, then Pranamaya and Anandamaya. These are 5 koshas, Similarly, today I'm going to give you the 5 layers of the Ayurvedic way of building immunity. Very simple, very easy. The first outer, like you have these days doctors are using the personal protective equipment. The PPE kit is very popular. So when doctors go into the hospital, they wear a PPE kit. So I'm telling you today, because Corona is still around and it's actually increasing every day, we see the numbers are going up. So if you want to stay healthy, I'm going to give you an Ayurvedic PPE kit. You can wear it and you can go out and you will be very protected and your immunity will be strong. So first layer is the physical layer, the body layer. In Ayurveda, we say that if you apply oil all over your body, every day you can use sesame oil and massage it all over your body. The oil has many benefits. It's not only just creating a covering outside which protects you from the microbes or from outer pathogens, but it also opens up the pores, it also detoxifies your skin, it also nourishes your nervous system, it also relaxes your muscles, it also tones up your muscles. There are many benefits of applying oil on your body. So this is first thing you can do, outer. Another thing, every day you should put some oil in your nose, 1 or 2 drops. Either you can use almond oil, you can use sesame oil or mustard oil, or we have this Ayurvedic oil which is now very popular. It's called the Anu oil. And Anu oil is even recommended by Ayush Ministry. At least once or twice a day, you can put this oil, 2 drops in each nostril. And this is going to protect your nasal membrane, because majority of the time the bacteria is entering through your nose. Then how do we protect our mouth? Every morning, you take 1 tablespoon of sesame oil, or if you have good quality coconut oil, put it in your mouth and you do some swishing. So it's called the oil pulling technique these days. The word is oil pulling. In Ayurveda, we have technical word kaval and gandush for that. But this is like you swishing around and you move it and then you throw it out of your mouth. This is what you can do. It's a very nice technique. It will not only clean up all the oral cavity, but even up to your throat level, it pulls out. That's why it is called oil pulling.
Yeah.
It will pull out all the microbes that have deposited maybe even in your throat. Since the coronavirus, or any virus, when it goes, it is not creating disease the moment it enters. It takes time to grow, to multiply, and then it will show the symptoms. So oil pulling technique is very nice. You can apply oil in the ears also. And another thing that you can do to clean the throat is do some gargles. Hot water with salt, gargles at least twice a day, morning and evening. And steaming is very nice. If you are exposed to a lot of people every day, then in the evening when you come home, take some steam. So if any virus, any microbes are there in the nose, they will be destroyed. So this is the first layer of our protection. The second layer is the Agni level. In Ayurveda, Agni is very important. Our digestive fire is very, very important. And if my digestive fire will be strong, then my fire can burn all the toxins. My fire can eat up all the microbes. So therefore, in order to keep our Agni strong, what you need to do, there are just 3 things I'm going to mention to you. You can make it at your home. First thing is ginger in your home. You have fresh ginger. In any form, you can eat it. You can eat a small piece of fresh ginger before you start eating your meals, or you can make a ginger tea. You can just boil ginger in water and drink it, or you can make some small pieces of ginger and put some lemon juice in it, and you can use it like a pickle and keep it on the table. When you're eating your meals, you can eat some fresh ginger with lemon juice also. Second thing you can make is, I call it a detox water. This detox water is very good for removing toxins and also for enhancing the Agni. It also strengthens the Agni. So what you do, take 1 liter water, and in this 1 liter water, you are going to add 4 things. Number 1, 1 teaspoon of fennel, saunf. Saunf is available, Yeah. 1 teaspoon fennel, 1 teaspoon cumin, jeera, 1 teaspoon coriander, dhania powder you have to take. Okay. And 1 teaspoon fresh ginger, chopped ginger. 4 things in a liter of water, put them to boil. When they start boiling, just after a few minutes, when it has boiled for a few minutes, stop the fire, filter the water, keep it in a thermos, and keep drinking it all day. You can keep sipping it. If you want, you can add some lemon juice in this. Very nice vitamin C also you will get.
Right.
And the third formula is a powder that you can make. It's a very popular, I call it the Ama Pachaka Churna or Ama Buster powder. You take 5 things again, 10 grams ginger powder, 10 grams cumin powder, 10 grams coriander powder, 20 grams mint powder, pudina, dry pudina, dry, and 20 grams fennel powder, which is soft powder. Mix all these things together. This powder is your best friend. Always keep it with you in your purse or in your office or wherever you are.
Yeah.
After every time you eat, 2 times, 3 times, after every meal, 1 teaspoon in half cup of warm water, mix it and drink it. Very nice. Or this will take care of your second layer. So now you're protected at the Agni level also. Now moving on to the third level. The third level is called the Ojas level. Ojas is our real immunity. It's the vital energy, vital fluid in the body, according to Ayurveda, not only at the physical level, but also at the mental level, the determination power, the willpower, at the spiritual level, the power to grasp the truth, the power to grasp the reality is because of Ojas. So how do you enhance your Ojas? Normally, in Ayurveda, there are many formulations like Chyawanprash is very popular now. You can eat Chyawanprash every day, 10 grams, 1 tablespoon. You can have Ashwagandha. Ashwagandha, many people are taking. Giloy, many people are taking also these days. Giloy is also good. Amla is very nice, either in any form, fresh amla tablet, amla powder, or amla murabba. In any form, amla is a very nice rejuvenator. And also you can have Shatavari, very good for females. Shatavari is very popular, very easily available. Or if you want, you can consult Ayurvedic doctors and get some personalized, Ojas formulas. Like specifically, if you want to get in touch with Jiva doctors, we are available through phone and video also. So jiva.com is our website where you can find all the information. So, but I'll give you a home recipe also. You can make at home. I call it the Punch Nut formula. The 5 nuts you have to use, nuts and dry fruits. So what you have to do, you have to take 9 raisins, kishmish, 9, 7 almonds, badam, 7 badam, 5 dates, 3 walnuts, and just 1 piece of cashew nut. So this is the, just the number, if you want to add a little bit more, it's okay. It's just a number, is just to make a formula. So 5 things, practically raisins and almonds and dates, walnuts and cashew nuts.
Yeah.
Soak them in water overnight, and next morning in the breakfast time or just empty stomach, remove the skin of the almonds and you can eat them and chew. If you want to drink hot milk with them, this will be wonderful. Or if you want, you can make a paste of all of them and mix with milk, put in the mixture, it becomes like a milkshake, but don't drink it cold. You have to warm it up and drink it.
Yeah.
This is a very nice formula for Ojas. You can start taking it every day. If you don't want to take it in the morning, you can soak all these things in the morning, and in the night before you go to bed, you can also drink it. So this is a very nice immunity formula for the Ojas level. Now moving on to the 4th level is the mind level. How do I keep my mind, strong? And especially in this time of COVID, so many people are now suffering from mental stress. They're having a lot of depression, so many problems, People are just sitting home, they can't go out. It's a big mental, depression for them. Many people are, having problems with job, financial problems, relation problems. So how do you keep your mind healthy? In Ayurveda, we give you one point formula: increase sattva guna. There are 3 qualities of the mind which are responsible for its operations: sattva, rajas, and tamas. So sattva is that quality of the mind which makes the mind happy, which makes the mind calm, relaxed, and the mind is very, very peaceful. And that's what is called a healthy mind. Peaceful mind is healthy mind. So what is sattva? Any food that will be, food which is clean, pure, home cooked, vegetarian, all fruits, vegetables, grains, nuts. You should try to, have good quality sattvic food, that we call it. And when we say food in Ayurveda, we're not meaning only what you eat from mouth, what you hear, what you see, what you read, and with whom you hang out. All these things you have to be very careful not to indulge in things which are rajasic and tamasic. Rajasic means stimulating, disturbing. So sattvic music, listen to some devotional music, some mantras, watch something sattvic, read something spiritual, hang out with people who are good people, yogis, you can hang out with yogis. Yogis are nice people. They're cool. They're very cool. I travel all over the world and I do a lot of courses for yoga people. We are very good friends with all the yogis in the world. And yoga and Ayurveda go together, as I said. So simple sattva, increase sattva, of course, practicing pranayama, meditation, all this is for the mind. There's so many things for the mind. In yoga, of course, you are more aware of what is mind and how do you take care of that. Of course, after pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyan, that is all the mind thing, that when you go into that area, it's all about the mind there. So this is the fourth level of the immunity building. And of course, we not forget the final and the most important is the soul, which is the real me. I am not the mind. I am also not the body. I am the soul. So what is the food for the soul? Food for the soul is not extra cheese pizza or not any burger. Food for soul is love.
Yeah.
Everybody needs love. And love here doesn't mean some kind of, lust or something. Love means true love, eternal love, spiritual love, which means where you are cared by somebody without any, expectation, or you care for somebody, you're trying to please someone, but you don't want anything back. Like sometimes you feed a person who is hungry. You're distributing food. You feel so happy. Sometimes you're busy doing this all day and you don't feel hungry yourself. This is the real food for soul. And this is what we need to really practice. We need to practice love. Start from your own self. Start loving your liver, your heart. Your liver doesn't like coffee.
Yeah.
Look at your heart, This guy is working for you 24/7 without any salary, doesn't take any salary. So please be kind to the heart. Don't eat too much cheese and all those fried paranthas and everything, because the heart doesn't like that, So be kind, don't be cruel to your own organs. And if you can develop this, then you can start loving others. Empathy, compassion, love. We hear all these words, forgiveness and, all gratefulness. This will not happen until you forgive yourself, until you start with yourself. So you are all yogis. I don't need to tell you much, but you can even chant mantras. You can sing kirtan. You can try to even connect with God. So there's a huge, potential for the food for soul. It's not only just these simple words that we have, imported from the West. In our Vedic culture, we have a huge, I would say like an ocean of knowledge about spirituality. So try to connect to those literatures, read Bhagavad Gita, listen to some, Upanishads and, Puranas. So you will find amazing nectar. This is nectar ready to be drank with your ears.
Yeah.
This is something you drink with your ears, not with the mouth. And this is amazing. So this is how you can build your immunity. And this is really what is the beauty of Ayurveda. Many people don't know Ayurveda. Many people think Ayurveda is some jadi booty. Many people think Ayurveda is some kind of cosmetics. Now Ayurveda is becoming some cosmetic. But Ayurveda is knowledge about the human system. The word Ayur, Sharirendriya Sattvatma Sanyog. What is Ayu? It's Ayu Ved. Ved means knowledge. Knowledge of Ayu. What is Ayu? Sharira, Indriya, and sattva means mind and soul. Four things. And what are these four things? This is a human system. Every human being, each one of you have a body, right?
Yeah.
You all have a body.
Right.
You all have senses, Gyanendriya, Indriya. You all have a mind and you all have a soul. So Ayurveda is for you. It's not only for me. It's for every human being. So please try to connect with Ayurveda. You can find a lot of information. You can go to Jiva Ayurveda YouTube channel. Many lectures you will find, or our Facebook page, Jiva Ayurveda Facebook page, or the website. And anything, even if you want to study more, we are even talking to, I spoke with Ira and I spoke with also some other people in your organization.
Yeah.
We're going to organize a course for the yogis also, because I'm doing those kind of course. So anyway, so this is the first thing. Moving on to the next part, which is the mind or the stress. It's very important also to talk about stress, especially during this COVID time. Stress has increased, and one of the things that people are facing a big problem is they can't sleep. Some people, of course, don't want to sleep these days. I don't know what's wrong with the youth of this country, especially.
The Netflix.
Every young person I talk, they don't go to bed like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. I don't know what's the problem. So this is a crime, This is what is called aparad, pragya parad. It's abusing your intelligence, because night is made for sleeping. Night is not for staying awake. You can stay awake in the day and do whatever you want. Nobody is stopping you. But please, for God's sake, don't abuse your system. Don't abuse your mind, and try to go to bed early. Because sleep is the diet of the mind. If you want to have your mind healthy, I already spoke about sattva, one part that you understood. But the second thing, for the mind to be healthy and happy, is a good sleep. So many people have problems in sleeping today. These days, people don't sleep because we have so many gadgets. We're always stimulated, so we can't fall asleep. And when you don't have a good sleep, your mind becomes anxious, your mind becomes nervous, mind becomes weak. In Ayurvedic terminology, too much vata in the brain. And vata is the energy which is responsible for creating movement. So your mind is always moving very fast. You're hyperactive. You can't sit down in one place. Your mind is moving even when you're sitting, multitasking. This is all mental disease. This is what is anxiety. This creates stress. So what do you do? I'll give you just very simple, very simple tips. You can start practicing from today, and you will feel like, you will be having some improvement immediately, right away. So one of the things that you have to do to have a peaceful mind is try to switch off all the gadgets sometime. For example, at least in the night, if you have to go to bed by 10, yogis should actually go to bed at least by 10, because they wake up early. In Ayurveda, we can still sleep a little bit, but you guys are not allowed to sleep. You should wake up in Brahma Muhurta, which is like, 4 o'clock or something like that. So for that, you must go to bed by 10. So at least 6 hours of sleep you can have. So switch off all your gadgets, computer, mobile, at least 1 hour. 9 o'clock, switch off everything. Put some nice aroma in your room. Any aroma, rose or, chandan, sandalwood, or there are many nice aromas available. Whatever is pleasing to your senses and the mind. So use that. Also, head massage regularly. You should do a nice head massage. It is very good for managing stress and any kind of anxiety or insomnia. So head massage, you can use sesame oil, mustard oil, or we have a very nice massage oil. Our products are also available. You can get them online. So massage oil is and if you have problems sleeping in the night, before you go to bed, you can massage your feet, the lower part of your feet. You can massage and you will have a very good sleep. Put some almond oil in your nose every day before going to bed. That will be very interesting. You can also make a nice milk. I call it the stress buster milk. Anybody who has stress, anxiety, depression, you must drink this oil every night before you go to bed. So what do you do? In the morning, you can again soak in the water 7 pieces of almonds. And I think just in this, we take only almonds to be soaked. And in the night time, remove the skin of the almonds. You can make a paste. Add this paste to 1 cup of milk. And in the milk, you add a pinch of cinnamon powder, dalchini, and a pinch of cardamom, elaichi powder. And if you like turmeric, haldi wala doodh is very popular now. If you want a pinch, not too much, it's very heating. So don't put like 1 teaspoon. A pinch is enough. And you can also put half teaspoon of saunf, fennel.
Yeah.
So again, badam, almonds paste with cinnamon pinch and cardamom pinch, turmeric if you like. If you don't like, it's okay. And half teaspoon of saunf. Boil it very nicely. And when it is boiled, you can drink this milk. And this is a very nice milk. You will have a good sleep. And this will also nourish your nervous system. So this is what you can do for the stress. Of course, there are many things that you can get in Ayurveda. In fact, we have a stress-free tablet, sleep well tablet, many things are available. In Ayurveda, the treatments are always personalized. Even if you want to go for immunity building, it's all personalized. And as you know, Jiva runs the world's largest Ayurvedic telemedicine facility. So we have more than 350 Ayurvedic doctors. They are available. Anybody, anytime, if you need any help, please don't hesitate. You're always welcome to contact us. So this is about the mind. And of course, not to forget the chants, Om chants, some instrumental music, some soft music. This is very, very soothing for the mind. So try to stop making noise. See, the mind actually by nature is already peaceful. You don't need to do anything. Yeah. Just stop making noise. Please stop disturbing the mind. Mind doesn't need any treatment. Many people think that mind needs some. By nature, our mind is already calm. It's already peaceful. That's why one of the synonyms of mind in Sanskrit is sattva. Sattva means calm, peaceful, happy. So mind is already happy. When a child is born, he is a very happy child. We start giving him all the gadgets and mobiles and a pad and tablets. So we're trying to actually agitate his mind. And the more we agitate, the more he becomes. And then at the age of the 5, the doctor says, okay, your child has ADD, attention deficit disorder.
Yeah.
Come on. He's like a 5-year-old child, and you start giving them tablets, some kind of, chemical medicines. This is, in America, I see so many children, they're taking this is crazy. In our Ayurvedic science, they have even described how to produce a child. We have a program in Jiva, it's called the Ayur Baby program. Anybody who is willing to produce a child, please contact us. We are expert in this, producing children. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is that before conception, both partners, they have to be healthy at physical, spiritual, and psychological level. During 9 months, what the mother has to eat, what she has to watch, this is very, very, so you'll have a wonderful child. Now in the whole world, there are so many Ayur babies, so many people get connected, and they're very amazed. They're saying my child is very peaceful, immunity is very strong. So please try to use these techniques. We have to plan everything properly. Even if you want to cook a nice meal, you have to plan it. But babies, we don't think about it. So this is about the mind. And I think how much time we have more, Akshit?
We have approximately 10 minutes before we go for the Q&A.
Okay, so then I will tell you something about some basic things about how to lead a very healthy and happy life. I'm going to give you very simple things. See, Ayurveda is a very, very interesting knowledge. It's not a rocket science. In fact, why I chose Ayurveda, I tell you my secret today, because yoga is too tough for me. Very difficult to stand on your head every morning and put your legs on, it's not, I can't. So I choose Ayurveda. Ayurveda is very simple. It tells you to do very, very simple things. And I'm going to share those simple things with you, which you can start doing and become healthy and happy. See, sure. First important thing is, please, everybody must try to know what is your Prakriti. Everybody has a fixed ratio of the 5 elements in the body. Somebody is, little bit chubby by nature. They try everything, all the diets, they don't lose 10 grams of weight even. Because they're chubby, they're kapha people, we call kapha Prakriti.
Yeah.
Drinking water, they gain weight. Some people are very skinny, they can eat a lot and not gain weight. They're vata type of people. So you have to know what is your type. what type of car you are. Are you a diesel car? Are you a petrol car, or a CNG, or you are a gas? Or, you have to know it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you might be putting wrong food, or maybe you are using a wrong lifestyle. This is the basic funda for becoming healthy and happy, that you have to know who you are and then choose the right food and right lifestyle. If you don't know your Prakriti, please, again, you can go to our website, jiva.com. There is a form you can fill out, and you will be able to know what is your Prakriti, what you should eat, what you should not. This is the first thing you have to all do. Then second thing, very, very easy and very simple. Please regularize everything. This body understands a rhythm. This body is actually a rhythm. The heart beats in a rhythm. The lungs, they're contracting and expanding, 20 times per minute. Heart is 72 times per minute. Then there is peristalsis movement, the food, the secretion of hormones, the menstrual cycle. You see, everything in this body is just a rhythm. So if you want to maintain this rhythm, the rhythm should be also outside in your life. It's not that today you're having breakfast, tomorrow no breakfast, then lunch is at 2 o'clock and dinner is at like 11 o'clock. This is not done. This body doesn't recognize it. It becomes confused, and then it starts to secrete things in wrong time. And that is what becomes an imbalance, and that's a disease. So please have a regularized time for your sleeping, for waking up, for your breakfast, for your lunch. Very, very easy. And don't try to eat in between the meals, you're eating something, munching all the time. Whatever you want to munch at the time of your lunch or dinner or whatever you're having. So just simple thing. This will keep you very healthy, very happy. Of course, do not forget to clean your Gyanendriya, all the 5 senses. Very, very important. Our eyes, nose, tongue, ear, and skin. These are the 5 senses, cognitive senses, which connect us to the outer world. Every day you must wash your eyes with water. You must clean, take some water in the nose and sniff it, or even yoga, you do the Jalniti, you can do Jalniti. You clean your tongue every day, and of course wash your skin and wash your ears. And whenever possible, at least a couple of times or more often, even every day, apply some oil. Apply oil in the nose, in the ears, in the skin, and also take the oil in the mouth, and you can put oil in the nose, in the eyes also. So right. Oiling the senses, because all senses are connected with nerves, and nerves are the neurotransmitter, this neurotransmission is going on there. So a lot of friction, a lot of dryness is there. So you need to lubricate it. Lubrication will keep them healthy. So this is another thing. And like you charge your mobile phone every day, please charge your body, your mind, and your soul every day. I have created a program, it's called Jivananda program, but you people are all yogis, you know how to charge the body, asanas, pranayama for the mind, and meditation for the soul. If you like to go for Jiva meditation, it is available on YouTube. Jiva meditation is the meditation for the soul. So every day you have to charge your body, mind, and soul, because you're working with it. Like you're charging your phone every day, it has to be charged. This is another technique to stay healthy and happy. And of course, seasonal detox, like, regularly you take your car for cleansing, for servicing. Have you taken this car for servicing ever? No. Please, at least once in a year, you should come to our garage. We have a big garage in Faridabad. It's called Jivagram. Jivagram also you can look up in our website. Jivagram is a wonderful place where you can come. We also do yoga there. We do meditation. We do all this cleaning. So at least once in a year, detox, and regularly take something for rejuvenation. In Ayurveda, there is a whole branch of rejuvenation, which is there, and for particular season, in which season, and for particular prakriti, everything is personalized there. So this is what you can do for taking this rasayana. And just the final tip, in Ayurveda, we are not very fanatic people. We always say that life is fun, enjoy it.
Yeah.
Don't worry, be happy. Why are you so stressed? I travel to around 50 countries in the world. I never understand why people are so stressed. I always tell people that when you were born, did you bring anything with you? No, nothing. When you go from here, do you take anything from here? No, nothing. So why are you so stressed? Just enjoy. Whatever you have taken it from here, you're using it and you leave it here. It's like a use and throw, place for us. So don't worry. If you don't have something, don't worry. Whatever you have is also something you got it from here. You didn't have anything. So try to, understand the philosophy. We all have limited time. We all here for doing some good job in life. It's not the time for, quarreling and, fighting and becoming jealous and envious and criticizing people. So try to just enjoy. Don't try to be, caught up in this karmic relations with people. Whenever you are jealous of somebody or you are attached to somebody, this is in Ayurveda, we call it raga and dvesha.
Yeah.
Raga and dvesha, both are problems. Both are the root of misery. So try to stay neutral. That's what is called yoga in Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah.
Yoga, samatva yoga uchyate. Neutral, stay neutral, enjoy. We are here like in a transit, everybody has a boarding pass. When the flight comes, we have to go. So in the transit, just enjoy. Whosoever is around you, just enjoy with them. Sing, dance, whatever you want to do. So these are some simple tips I think that everybody can practice. So this is one. And finally, I just want to again re-emphasize on the point that yoga and Ayurveda are like twin sisters. I always say, sometimes I say that yoga is the soul and Ayurveda is the body. And of course, the body cannot live without soul, and the soul also cannot live without body. Both of them, they have to live together, work together. It's a wonderful, I will say, two branches of knowledge in our Indian system. And we should really go deeper. See, don't just be attracted by the gymnastics. Many people are now attracted by the physical part of yoga. Try to go into deeper, like go into pranayama, go into pratyahara, try to understand dharana, and then you will really enjoy. And that's where you will meet Ayurveda somewhere. We are waiting for you. So please come, get out of this physical mode and be somewhere at the next level. And then you will see Jiva. Jiva means soul, ultimately. So Jiva is there, and Jiva, we're all Jivas, and we all have to really understand what is the real purpose of life here.
Yeah.
The real purpose of life is to become self-realized, to become God-realized, and especially attain moksha, liberation. So once again, a very happy Moksha Day.
Yeah.
Very happy Independence Day to all of you. And I will take some questions. I don't know who is going to ask me the questions.
Really, really a wonderful session by you, Doctor. On behalf of everyone, I really thank you so much.
Thank you.
And let's take quickly a couple of questions. We have, okay. I think I've lost all the questions. Can everyone just quickly write whatever you want to know?
There are many questions here, I think, no?
Yeah, they've just gone from the chat. Okay.
If you want, I can read some questions from here.
Yeah, you can choose any questions, Doctor.
Okay, so one question is from Shivani Singh. She's asking, can people with Pitta dosha take ashwagandha, or is it too heaty? Of course, ashwagandha is a little bit heating. So Pitta people should be very careful. If you want to take ashwagandha, it will be good to mix amla with this. Amla is pulling. So for example, you take 1 tablet ashwagandha and 1 tablet of amla. That will be very good. So that's how you can take it. So there's somebody is asking, this is, can Ayurveda permanently cure PCS problem? Yes, we have very good results. See, again in Ayurveda, whenever there is a treatment done, we're not looking at the name or the symptoms. We try to go to the root cause. And PCOS, which is a very common problem, or PCOD now in young girls, this is normally very much related with emotional problems. So, but of course, there are a lot of physical things also involved. So for any questions that you have connected to your disease, please feel free to connect to our telemedicine center.
Yeah.
You can go on jiva.com and you will get all the information there. This is a wonderful service that we are offering all over the world. Okay, let me see some other question.
One question is there from Aradhana. What can we do about the joints, what can we take for the joints? In Ayurveda, is it mentioned?
Normally, joints, are the place where there's a lot of movement happening, and naturally there is a lubricating, fluid is there in the joints, which we call synovial fluid, in the modern science. In Ayurveda, it's a type of kapha. It's a kind of, kapha is of many types. So we need to lubricate the joints. These days, we are not in the habit of applying oil. If people apply, they apply some cream, but
Right.
cream is not oil. It's a bunch of some mixture of chemicals. So just sesame oil every day, if you will apply, this will help. But as I said, if anybody has any problems, any disease, please get it diagnosed by an Ayurvedic doctor. It is very, very important that you have to find the real, just not go for any tablet.
Yeah.
Ayurveda doesn't talk about symptomatic treatment, like if you have joint pain, take this tablet. If you have diabetes, take no. Every person has some cause, and every person has a unique cause maybe. So we have to find out that cause, and then we can really give you personalized treatment. So that's what we do in Jiva. We have also around 80 clinics all over India.
Okay.
Maybe if there is a Jiva clinic in your city also, you can just look Jiva Ayurveda and your city of your name of your city, and you will find it if it is there. So try to get some Ayurvedic treatment for that. If you.
Sure. We just last question. Let's take Dipesh Miklani. I think his question is gone. Okay. Can Vat, Pitta, Kapha be perfectly balanced in our body? How much time does it take to increase the immunity?
So basically, everybody has a unique ratio of Vat, Pitta, Kapha. That's what is called your unique Prakriti. It's like your unique ID. It's very important to know your unique ID. So it's not necessary that everybody has a equal ratio of Vat, Pitta, Kapha, 33% each. No. As I said, somebody has a dominance of Kapha, and less Vat and less Pitta. So this is what you have to find out. And whenever you will lose this original balance, this original ratio, that is what is called a Vikriti. That is what is called a disease. And the treatment, when you come to us, we're trying to bring you back to your original. That's what we do. So therefore, everybody doesn't have a fixed ratio of Vat, Pitta, Kapha. It's like not like 33% each, but it's varying.
Right.